Hi guys, it's your girl Lyric Shenez back with another video. What's goody in the hoodie? As you can see by the title, your girl is engaged. Y'all, I have been on cloud 9 for the past like 5 days. I don't know, like I just cannot believe that this is my life. I cannot believe that this is the life that God has blessed me with, that he finds me worthy of, that like I'm living. It's just so crazy to me, and I really wanted to come on here in like a sit down setting and talk to you guys about my new life and just the blessings that God has put on my life. I'm just so like, I don't know, like I'm a happy person. I'm not really like a crier when things make me happy. I'm like a super excited person, of course, because I have ADHD, so I'm just like freaking Bugs Bunny. I don't know, the Energizer Bunny is the word. That's how I am whenever I'm like super excited. But like at night when things like slow down and the world is quiet and the sun is down, like especially last night, I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like I am so blessed. Like I cannot believe that this is my life. It is so insane to me just how much God has blessed me, and I don't know, I'm just okay, so let's get into it, because I don't want this video to be like super long, but I do want to give you guys the details because I know that you're going to be asking a lot of questions, or you probably aren't going to ask them but you have a lot of questions. I mean, we're a super small channel, but I feel like this video will still be really good, especially for as the channel grows. I'm going to sit down and talk to you guys about everything, and this will be something good even just for me to look back on and see how I was feeling whenever this happened, because I'm about to be with this man for the rest of my life. Just get into it. So I am engaged. I got engaged on August 3rd, you guys, on a trip that my fiance and I were on. We have been planning this trip for a while. We were going to Sedona, Arizona, which is his favorite place like in the US. He loves traveling, but it's just something about Sedona, Arizona for him that he just really loves. He went there previously on a solo trip, and God just works in such mysterious ways, you guys, because when he went previously, it was not supposed to be a solo trip. He actually was going with someone that he had been on and off with for a while, and it just so happened that like a day or two before the trip, things didn't work out, and it ended up being like a last-minute solo trip for him. So he goes, he enjoys it, he just had a really good time by himself in his own company. And we were even talking about that while we were there. Like, this was before he had even proposed. It was like the night before we were at dinner, and he was talking about how it wasn't meant for him to bring, you know, that person to Sedona, and that, you know, God just works, and just, he's such an intentional God. Like, he just, the fact that that's where he ended up proposing to me, like his future wife, and that's somewhere that he was supposed to go with someone that he had been previously dating, it's just like literally mind blown. Even outside of that, like the fact that, and I'm gonna give y'all a backstory on how we met. My brain is kind of all scattered because I knew that I wanted to do this video, but I don't have like a script or anything like that. These are just my raw, true, authentic emotions. But even just the fact that whenever I was living in Atlanta, I never wanted to live in Atlanta. My plans were always to move to Texas. That was my plans from when I lived in my small town in Columbus, Georgia, where I graduated from and all the things. I left for college, I came back, and I was living there for a nice little chunk. I want to say like 3 years or something, 3 or 4 years after college, and I never wanted to go to Atlanta. I wanted to always come to Texas, but I was so much younger, figuring out how to live, how to survive. I knew how to, of course, make money and pay my bills, but like, you know, up and moving like 17 hours away, or no, it wasn't 17, I think I'm like 10 hours away, however many hours away it is from my family, it was just something that I didn't know how to do at the time. So I ended up moving to Atlanta, which was only an hour and a half away from Columbus, Georgia, and it was just an easier move. At the time, I was trying to get away from you know, my on and off relationship at the time, and I just knew that I didn't want to stay in Columbus, Georgia any longer while like moving on from something traumatic. I wanted to go to a new place and create new experiences. And so I was like, okay, I could stay here and continue to plan for Texas, and I don't really have like a date of when I can make that happen, or I could just pack my stuff and go an hour and a half up the road to Atlanta. And that's exactly what I did. But that was never on, I never wanted to live there. It was great. I lived in a high-rise apartment. I lived in downtown Atlanta. It was a nice experience, but I just never felt happy or whole there. Like, Atlanta gave me a little bit of anxiety. I'm not gonna say Atlanta gave me anxiety. Maybe where I lived gave me anxiety because I was like in the middle of downtown, like just in the mix. It was just always so much going on. Like, I don't feel like I have to live in the suburbs, but I don't have to live right in the thick of the city. And I learned that from living in Atlanta. Like, yeah, I like living places that are walkable, but I also like being able to walk outside and breathe. Atlanta's very congested. The buildings are on top of each other. It's just, it was never what I had in the plan. So I ended up becoming a flight attendant, of course. I moved to Chicago for a year, and then I came to Texas. I finally got here. My friends would be like, oh, come back to Atlanta, because, you know, I didn't have any friends here for a while. I was still adjusting to living here. I was flying, so I was never on the ground. I couldn't really create a life for myself, so I was pretty lonely for like my whole first like year of living here. I was very lonely. My friends would be like, come back to Atlanta, and I would say no. Like, my husband's not in Atlanta. I know my husband is in Houston. Like, I know my husband is in Houston. I would literally always say it. Like, if I could have my friends on this video with me, they would co-sign for me. Like, I even text two of them yesterday, and I was just like, do you remember when I used to always say that like my husband was in Houston? And it's just so crazy because we all remember that. I used to say that all the time, and I don't know. Now I know that it was God putting that in my spirit, but it was just something that I felt like at the time. It was such a strong feeling. I knew my husband was not in Atlanta. I knew he wasn't. I just strongly felt like he was in Houston. I was very confident in that. I can't tell you why. And so now, looking back on how everything played out, all the things that I went through, that my fiance went through, and the fact that now this is where we are, it's just such a beautiful experience. And I'm gonna tell you guys how we met and how he proposed, and then we're gonna go from there. But I just wanted to give y'all just a little chunk of just like an insight into my life, and then a little tiny bit into his. It's just crazy how things just work out and how paths like just align. Like, we're two people that were in things in the past that weren't best for us, and it was on and off, and we were trying again. And so now that like we're together, it's just like two people that genuinely are lover boys, that I'm a lover girl, he's a lover boy, and we just have the same values when it comes down to relationship, to just like how we move. Like, we just have the same values, and it's just so crazy because we're the type of people that genuinely belong together. Like, that's truly how I feel. Like, we are two people that belong together. So now that all that mushy stuff is out of the way, which this whole video is probably gonna be mushy, I'm gonna tell you guys exactly how we met, and then I'll get into the proposal, and then I'm gonna end the video and tell you guys what to expect in my next couple of videos that are coming out, or at least my next 2 videos, because they'll be vlogs, and I'm gonna give you some disclaimers as far as like what to expect in those videos. So make sure that you watch to the end so that you can know what to expect in my upcoming vlogs, because I'm doing this video first, and then the other vlogs will be lead ups into where we are right now. So stay into the end. Also, if you're still here, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, because I'm so excited for this girlfriend to fiance to wife era that I am about to be living. Let's get into how my fiance and I met. So, like I just told y'all in the little beginning stages, my whole entire first year of living in Houston, I was a flight attendant. And when you're a flight attendant, you don't make a lot of money. And the way that you make a livable wage is you have to pick up trips. And so I moved to Houston, but for a whole year, I was having to pick up so many trips and work so much that like I was only home maybe like 2 days. But the way that it was working and how many trips I was picking up, because I had a car payment, which I also posted a video about how my car that I used to have, it was so expensive, and then I also had rent. And so just like paying my bills, the amount of picking up trips that I had to do, I was only able to be home for like chunks of 2 to 3 days at a time. Or if I was home for more days, it was because I was on call with my job and they weren't calling me in. So I never was like home enough to really build a life for myself in Houston for the whole first year of being here. I was happy to be here, but I was always flying. I would go on so many chunks of like being home for a couple of days and then going straight to work and coming home and being home for 2 days and then going straight to work. I would go on so many stints of that when I would have like 3 to 4 days off in a row to basically help me from going insane. Not every single chunk of off days would I pick up trips. I would go back to Georgia because I'm working a lot. I don't have friends here. I don't have family here. And it just, my mental health was really, really bad when I was flying for more reasons than just me being in Houston by myself. It was so many other things that played into it. If you guys want another video on that, then feel free to put it in the comments and I'll do another one. So I would go to Georgia when I had a lot of days off because I just needed to be around my friends and my family and people that loved me for the sake of my mental health. So I was never here. And then I got tired of that, and I had honestly been tired of being a flight attendant for a very long time. I literally started like picking up other things on the side and became a bottle girl, and I started meeting friends from working, but I still didn't really like have a whole lot of a social life when I did stop flying. I did not go outside of going to work. I don't go to clubs, I don't go to lounges. Like, I haven't done that in so long. And so a lot of times when they would hang out, that's what they would do. And so, you know, I wouldn't really do that. But one of my friends, Winter, we got really, really close, and she enjoyed doing other things than just going out. So we would go to the zoo, we would go to restaurants and eat. We would do so many other things than just like go to the club. And so that's how she and I got really, really close. And so one day Winter had to get her wisdom teeth pulled or something, I don't know, and we used to work out together a lot too, and at this time she couldn't work out, and so she asked me to come to the park with her to basically go for a walk because she couldn't do anything that was high intensity. And so I said okay. I got to the park, and this is where it gets so crazy. When I got to the park, she got there before me and she got a parking spot. It was like a random day, like a Tuesday. It was like probably 2 or 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, which is crazy because it's super hot and we're in Texas. We're in Texas, but the park was full. Like, it's so, like, I had to circle around, like, I swear y'all, I had to circle around to get a parking spot like 4 times, like to the point where I almost wanted to tell her like, bruh, like we can just come back later. But I didn't tell her that because she had already parked and she was waiting for me. She had drove to the park, I had drove to the park, and I'm the type of person where when I get overstimulated or when I get annoyed, I'd be like, I'm going home. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about plans. I don't care about none of that. If I get overstimulated, if things don't work smoothly, done. Plans canceled. But I didn't do that because she was waiting for me. She was already out of her car and she was being patient. So I was like, okay, it's no reason for me to get annoyed or upset if she's being patient and she's already parked. So I had to circle around like 4 or 5 times. And the thing about where we were parking at this specific park, I couldn't just make a small circle. I had to go all the way down, and come back up. So I did that like 4 times. Finally got a parking spot. I got a parking spot. We got out of the car and we had like a little parking meter and we were about to pay for parking. So we're there at the parking meter. She was putting in her information first and then I was about to put in mine, or vice versa. I don't know. At this point, she's putting in her little tag number and stuff. And so I'm sitting there like while she's working on it. And I'm just like looking around and I see this guy, but he's far back. He's far away. I can't like see him. I see him enough to know that he's handsome, and he also wasn't wearing a shirt and he was just like fine. So I see him like far away and Winter's like typing in her little parking information and I was like, oh, hey daddy. And she was like, who? And she looked up and she was like, oh. So we're just standing there looking at the little, you know, parking thing, and next thing you know, he's running, like he's coming up to us. And I'm like, I literally just said, hey daddy. And now this guy is coming up to us. That's insane. So he comes up to us and he was like, hi. And he was like, how are y'all? You know, he's talking to us or whatever. And he looks at me. He's just like, oh, I think I follow you on Instagram. And I was like, really? I'm Lyric? And he was just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I follow you. It's like, oh, nice to meet you or whatever. He was just like, you guys are about to work out? And I was just like, yeah, we're about to go for a little walk or whatever. And he was just like, oh, okay, well, have a good day. And I was like, thank you, you too. He was just like, oh yeah, you're so much prettier in person. And I was like, thank you so much. So he runs off and he didn't even look back. He never turned around. He never looked back. He just continued on with his run. I'm just like, he was nice. And when Timber's like, yeah, he was really nice. So we go on our walk or whatever. And I kid y'all not, from that moment on forward, I never stopped thinking about that man. I never stopped. I could not stop thinking about him. And the interaction I just told y'all probably lasted all of 60 seconds. I could not stop thinking about the man. We get back from our walk. I look up his name on Instagram because I'm just like, dang, I don't even know what his Instagram name is. I didn't know if he was gonna say anything to me. I'm just looking, so I go out, type in his name, and I'm just like, hopefully I can find him. So I ended up finding his Instagram, and I was scrolling through his page, I clicked messages, and I realized that like 3 months prior, we had messaged. We had like a very short like conversation. Like, I think the day that he had responded to my story, I had like shipped some hair. I had got back from like a trip because I don't know what. No, I went to the gym. I had shipped some hair. I had just done a lot that day. Like, I was it was a very productive day, the specific day that he responded to my story. And whenever he responded to my story, he was just like, dang, you really do it all. And I responded, I was just like, it's me versus me, with like a shrug emoji. And he basically said something like he wanted to hang out with me too, or like, hopefully I could give him some of his time. And I was just like, ugh. And I didn't respond. And it wasn't because I didn't think he was a handsome guy or anything, but it's just because like, I did not want to meet my partner on social media. I did not want that. I did not want to meet my partner on social media. And also, you get those type of messages from men all the time, like, oh, like, I would like some of your time, or what is it that they say? You gotta give me some of your time too. Or, and I was just like, ugh, like another one of these. And so I didn't respond. But it didn't have anything to do with him. It was more so just the fact that like, I did not want to meet my partner on social media. And that's an agreement that I had made with God. Like, or not even an agreement, but I had been like telling God and praying to God, like, God, like, I don't want to meet my husband on social media. I had been telling the Lord that. It was nothing new. It had nothing to do with him. It was nothing personal. I just didn't want to. I wanted to be able to meet my husband in person because I wanted to be able to discern. And I know that my discernment is so strong that if I came face to face with my husband or someone that was actually worth my time, I would know. But I wouldn't be able to know through social media. And I didn't want to go through the process of having to trust someone online and then go on a date. I didn't want to do that. I never wanted that for myself. And God knew that, which is why we ran into each other at the park 3 months later. So he didn't say anything to me. He didn't say anything to me. Like, I want to say 2-3 weeks had passed, and I was telling all of my friends about him. Like, I was asking all of my friends, like, yeah, so I met this guy at the park. He seemed really nice. You know, I don't know much about him. I don't know anything about him. I follow him on Instagram, but like, my fiance, he barely posts. Like, 90% of the time, he does not have the Instagram app on his phone at all. And it's because he works such a like strenuous and, well, not strenuous, like a mentally, I guess, strenuous job. Like, it just takes so much out of him mentally. And also it's just like very like, he works with numbers. He's a finance bro. Like, if you know what a finance bro is, like, he works in finance. And so a lot of times like social media and things like that are distractions. Like, he refuses to download TikTok because he does not have time for those type of distractions. This is a working man in corporate America that has climbed the ladder and is extremely successful, and he just don't have time for none of that. I'm looking at his Instagram, I'm just like, I mean, he's a handsome guy. I mean, I see he graduated from Harvard. Like, I see he got his master's. I would hope that he has something going on, but like, I don't really know what he has going on. He literally never posts. I think that his most recent pictures, I saw that he had like went to Rome recently. I was like, okay, so he travels, that's good. But I just didn't know much. I didn't have much to work with from his social media, but I just kept thinking about the man. Y'all, God is my witness. I could not stop thinking about this man that I talked to for 60 seconds that I knew literally nothing about, and I could not tell what he had going on from his social media, besides the fact that he had like graduated from Harvard, he had his master's. But to me, it's like, okay, that means that you're smart, but that doesn't really mean that you're doing anything with your life. It doesn't guarantee that, because I know lots of people that have college degrees from great colleges that aren't doing anything with their lives. And so I didn't have a clue, but I couldn't stop thinking about him. And I was at a phase in my life too where I wasn't dating, I wasn't talking to men. I had made an agreement with God that I was going to like really lock in and focus on him. And when I made that agreement with God, God literally told me, y'all, and this is what's so crazy too. When I made that agreement with God, God told me that he was going to send my husband, but I was not doing it for a husband. I was doing it because I was unhappy with my life at the time. I was unhappy with my career. I didn't want to be in the club anymore, but I didn't know what I wanted to pivot to. I didn't know anything about Houston, the job market. I didn't have any connections out here. And so I was at a place where it's just like, I'm about to put all of my faith in God. I'm going to really, really lock in, get in my word, get in my Bible, get deep into the church. And like, I just had a conversation with him and I was just like, this is what I'm about to do, because I just need you to come into my life. I need you to have your way in my life, and I'm gonna put all of my trust in you because I don't know what I'm doing right now. Faith is all I've got, so that's what I'm about to go on. So I made that agreement with God. I started doing exactly what I told him I was gonna do, and then like within that time, he told me that he was gonna send my husband, and he told me that it was gonna be fast, which is so crazy. I knew I wasn't, like, you know how sometimes when you want something, it's you talking to you, telling yourself what you want to hear from God? I knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't me. And it was so crazy to me, and it wasn't scary, but it was crazy to me because it's just like, that's crazy. And I knew it was gonna happen quick. I knew it because God said it. He told me. I knew it was gonna happen that way. And I think it was just a thing where I just needed to like surrender my life over to him, and he was just gonna make everything okay, because that's just the God we serve. That's just what God does. Like when he told me it was gonna happen quick, I want to say I made that agreement with God not even a month before I met my fiance. It wasn't even a month, y'all. I promise you, it was probably like 3 weeks later, and then that's when we met each other at the park. I couldn't stop thinking about him, and I didn't know why, because like I said, I didn't know anything about him. And then I straight up asked God. I was like, God, this is my husband, isn't it? Because I know what you told me, for one. For two, I know what I told you. I didn't want to meet my husband on social media. I met him at the park. For three, I cannot stop thinking about him. I don't think about men. I don't think about men. I think about success. I think about everything but a man. Like, I think about everything but men. And like, that's not to say that I didn't want a partner. I didn't want a fiance. I didn't want a husband. I didn't want a boyfriend. That's not to say that I didn't want it. But I made sure that I did not idolize that, because that's how you end up in unhealthy relationships with unhealthy people and toxic partners. And so I just, all of that energy that I had for like knowing that this is where I always wanted to be, I put that into being a better person and working on myself and working on my heart and working on my mind and working on just all the qualities about myself that I knew that I was gonna have to have when I got in a relationship. That's what I put that energy into. So it wasn't that I didn't want it, but it was that I wasn't idolizing it and I wasn't expecting it. I knew it was gonna happen, but I just wasn't like, my life didn't revolve around wanting a man. Whenever I started thinking about him the way I was like, this is my husband, isn't it? Like, I literally asked God, like, this is my husband. I know it is. Sorry, y'all, if the angle's a little bit different or if y'all are a little further back, it's because the camera was about to die. But I'm about to start wrapping this up because it is getting kind of long. Hopefully y'all have been enjoying it thus far. Drop a pink heart emoji in the comments if you're at this part of the video and if it's still enjoyable. But so yeah, like, so I could not stop thinking about the guy. And then all of a sudden I kept hearing the name Charlie so much, y'all. Like, I started hearing that name so much, and so that's when I just straight up asked God, like, this is my husband, isn't it? And God told me yes. And I was just like, bruh, that is so crazy to me. But I was still just so scared. So I was asking my friends, even though I already knew, but I was asking my friends, like, do y'all think I should like message him? I asked Winter, like, do you think I should say something? And then I remember Winter saying, like, girl, you should say something, like, this could be your husband. But I already knew he was, and I still would not reach out to him. Mind you, this is 3 weeks. This is over the course of 3 weeks. So I'm just thinking about him every day, like literally every second of the day. I'm watching his stories now because he's on my radar, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So he ended up posting, he bought this house, and he ended up posting a house. But he posted his apartment that he was living in before, and he put like Saranara on the photo, and then he posted like a house and he put hello or something or whatever. And I freaked out because I was just like, no way. I waited 3 weeks and now the man is moved. Now he doesn't live in Houston. What am I gonna do? So I literally responded to his story. I was just like, you moved? And he was just like, yeah. And I was just like, congratulations, like, you still live in Houston. He still lived in Houston. I was like, oh, thank God. So from that point forward, that was like the only thing I had said to him. And then I remember one of the Charlies that I had saw, it was this little boy on Instagram. I'm just scrolling on Instagram, this little boy, and he was singing a CeCe Winans song, all my life you have been faithful. And I watched the whole video because it was so cute and he actually could sing. At the end of the video, the parents had said like, oh, good job, Charlie, or something. I was like, Then I went to get my hair done, which is actually on one of my vlogs, and my hairstylist, she was doing my hair, and I was playing one of my playlists, and it was the Betty Wright song that's like, don't blame Mr. Charlie. And I was just singing the song or whatever, and I was kind of trying to ignore the fact that the song said Charlie because I played the song. I added the song to my playlist, so I didn't really take that as a sign. Even though I was like already thinking about him, and then the song said Charlie, I'm just like, okay, that's not really a sign. I listen to this song all the time. But then my hairstylist said, did she just say Charlie? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, that's my fiance's name. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, Lord. Okay. So I messaged him on Instagram and I asked him, could I give him my number? I gave it to him. And he said hi. I said hi. I told him that I loved his name because I do love the name Charlie. I think it's just so cute. And he was like, he loved mine too, or like his wasn't as good as mine or whatever. And then immediately after, he goes into, whenever we met at the park like three weeks ago or whatever, that he was a single man, but that within that time he had just recently gotten into a relationship with another girl, or like started dating her, and they had only been dating for like 2 days or something. And he told me that he was fasting and he was praying to like figure out if she was the one, and that, you know, he just didn't feel right even like texting me. And he was like, you know, I'm a man of God, I'm a man of my word, I'm a man of faith, I'm a loyal man, and I just, you know, I just don't feel right, you know, texting you, but like, thank you for basically reaching out to me. And so I was just like, but I did not let it bother me because I know what God told me. And one thing about the Lord, when he tells me something and I know for a fact it came from him, I don't have any worries or any anxiety because God always comes through for me, especially when he tells me something I know for a fact that it's going to come to pass. I will say, if God tells me something, when he puts that in my spirit or in my heart, I have no worries. I might stress along the way a little bit just because I'm human, but I don't be worrying about it. I know that it's gonna come to pass. I was just like, okay, I understand. Thank you for letting me know. Cause I was like, he told me that he was doing like a 40 day or 90 day or however long the fast was. It was a long fast. I was like, dang, I'm gonna have to wait. Like, and right then and there, I was just like, I'm gonna wait for him. I'm going to wait for him because I know what God told me. And God is going to reveal it to him too, because he revealed to me that he's my husband, even if he doesn't know it yet. So I was just like, okay, no problem. I didn't stress it. I didn't say anything. And then like not even 7 days, oh my gosh, it's a nap. Not even 7 days later, he texted me and asked me, could he take me on a date? And I was just like, wait, what happened to the other girl? And he had broke up with her. It had only been like, they had only been together for like 4 days at this point. And it wasn't like they had been dating for a long time. It was his first time dating a woman of God. And she basically was just like, she doesn't believe in dating multiple people at a time. So he was just like, okay, I'm just gonna go with it. They had only been on like 1 or 2 dates before they made it official. So it wasn't even like official, like they hadn't built any type of like real connection. I didn't know if it was for me or not, but you know, now that I know everything, I know that he literally broke up with her for me. But he already didn't know how he felt, or he wasn't confident that she was truly the one, which is why he was going on the fast. He felt like she was more mature spiritually than he was. So he was just like, I don't know, like, you know, maybe she knows better than I do. So he ended up breaking up with her, and then we went on a date, and ever since I've just been with him every day. Not every day, but I've been with him ever since. July 4th was the day when it was just like, okay, yeah, like we're locked in. Our anniversary is the first day that we went on our first date, because from that day we have been we just meshed together so well. Like, he was my man from day one. I literally started posting this man a month after we started like dating. Like, this video is already getting long. He found out that I was his wife a little while later. He was scared to ask God because he felt like God had already told me. He was just like, dang, like she already knows I'm her husband, but I'm not sure because I haven't asked God. And he didn't want to ask God because he was scared that God was going to tell him no, and he didn't want to break up. So he finally asked him, and then the next day he had a dream, and he didn't really understand like what his dream was. And I had a dream, and I woke up, mind you, we woke up in the middle of the night, like it was still dark outside, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was just like, I had a dream. My dream answered the questions to his dream. Every single person in his dream were in my dream. They were doing the same things. He was like crying. I didn't know he was crying because it was dark. That's when he knew that I was his wife. He could have asked a long time ago. God would have told him, yeah. Yeah, so that's me and my partner's story. I genuinely love this man so much, and this is just your sign that like all of the hurt, all of the pain, all of the trauma, all of the anything that you may go through in life, like as long as you stay a genuinely good person in your heart, as long as you stay a good person, as long as you don't turn into a hateful, mean, angry person, as long as you don't let your pain and your trauma shape you and your actions, and as long as you have faith in God and just operate in that, you're gonna be okay in the end. Like, God is going to bless you in the end. We always finish on top. Like, I've been through so many traumatic things, y'all, like not even just in relationships, but because of relationships that I have been in, I've gone through so much trauma. I just stayed the best person that I could be. I kept my mouth closed in times when I didn't want to. I was the bigger person in times that I really didn't want to be. I just let God fight my battles in times where I wanted to fight them myself. And this is where it has gotten me. No matter who you are, especially if you are a woman, which 9 times out of 10, if you're watching this video, you are a woman. Don't hate men. Don't hate men. Don't start to feel like all men are bad. Don't feel that way. Never get that mentality, because at that point, all hope is lost. Don't be hateful. Like, any bad thing that you experience or any negative thing that you go through, use it to make you better. If you're in your single season, focus on yourself. If you're attracting the wrong partners or people that you don't feel like are husband material, look at yourself. Fix yourself. I'm pretty sure if you are attracting toxic people, you are a toxic person. If you are attracting bad people over and over again, I'll say, because sometimes good people attract bad people because we're good people. But if you are attracting bad people over and over and over again, or the same people over and over and over again, I bet you if you really, really look deep down at yourself, you are also that person. You are attracting exactly what you are, which is why you can't attract anything different. So keep that in mind. Work on yourself, because I worked on myself so much because I knew that when my partner came around, I didn't want to talk to him crazy. I didn't want to not be in control of my emotions. I didn't want to, I didn't want to do those things to my actual husband. I never wanted to be that way to my actual husband. So in my single season, I really, really, really worked on myself, and I did not let hate harden my heart, or trauma harden my heart, or hurt harden my heart, which is how I got here. I did not do people the way they did me. I did not retaliate against people the way they did me. I didn't do any of that. And when you take that approach, you go through so much hurt and so much pain, because life sucks sometimes, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. And also, don't settle. If someone is not giving you what you want, giving you what you need, treating you properly, if they're treating you like crap, if they aren't trying to commit to you, if you know you want to be married, you've been with that person for years and they still haven't proposed to you, they also know you want to be married too. Why aren't they marrying you? Leave. Just be willing to walk away. No matter what you may lose, no matter if you have to be alone, no matter if you have to be by yourself, no matter if you have to start all the way over from scratch, whatever it takes, walk away. Be willing to walk away. And it'll get easier and easier as time goes on. You'll start cutting people off at the first offense. Cutting people off at the first offense. But that is my I'm engaged video, and also a little tips for you guys. So I just hope that y'all enjoyed it. What to expect next. Okay, I'm gonna make this quick. So what's coming up next is, so this video is first I'm engaged, because I'm just letting you guys know that I'm engaged. Also, my engagement photos are gonna be on my community tab. They're in my community tab if you want to see my engagement photos. He proposed at that photo shoot. I forgot to tell y'all, he proposed at a photo shoot. He proposed at that photo shoot. I'm gonna drop the photo shoot pictures in my community tab before this video comes out, so go to my community tab. So the first video is going to be basically just, it's kind of like a baddie on a budget vlog. I'm doing a lot of shopping in that vlog, preparing for us to go to Arizona. So I'm buying a lot of things, going to a lot of places, specifically because I'm shopping for this trip. So this is the first vlog that you're going to see is like trip prep / like how to shop on a budget. The second vlog is going to be the actual vacation vlog of us in Arizona. I get engaged on that trip, so that's going to be the second vlog. And then after that, it's just going to go right into like preparing for my journey to become a wife, because we are getting married before the year ends. We are having a small wedding. I'm not gonna tell my wedding date, but I have T-minus 2 seconds to really prepare for this wedding. That means eating properly, working out very hard, all the things. My freaking fiance, I have to get his wedding band. So it's like, this is what's gonna be in like the next videos to come. It's really just gonna be like fiance like kind of style vlogs, which is really not gonna be that, but like this is now my life. So a lot of things I'm gonna be doing are going to be centered around preparing for the wedding and for marriage. So that's what you can expect in the next 2 videos, and then following on from there. I love y'all so much, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Your girl is a fiance. I'm gonna show the ring. I'm so happy and I'm so in love. And babe, if you are watching this, which you watch all my videos, I love you so deeply. I love you with my entire soul, my entire being. I love you with the love of God, and I'm just so thankful and grateful to have you. And to all my subscribers or non-subscribers, if you watch it to this far, you need to be a subscriber. I love y'all too, and I'll see y'all in my next video.